Recapping WWE Bash in Berlin, including Gunther and Cody Rhodes retaining their titles.
And in AEW, Jack Perry steps up as the first challenger for Bryan Danielson.
It's time to roll around the ring. All right, Bash in Berlin, as expected, main evented by Gunther.
Yes.
Defending that world title against Randy Orton, 2 world title matches. We'll get to Cody and KO in a moment, but Gunther retaining the world title, and after the match, I mean, as expected, you know, babyface and
right.
in Berlin. Hell, Ludwig Kaiser was kind of a babyface on SmackDown against LA Knight of all people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is...
Yeah. Well, Berlin.
It's Berlin, but
yeah.
I don't know that you... Not to switch topics real quick, bringing that up. I don't know that I would have brought Kaiser out against your biggest, hottest babyface. Yeah. Knowing that crowd is probably going to go against LA Knight.
Questionable booking.
Right, and like a majority of that crowd went against LA Knight.
I mean, you could write it off as like, as the WWE tends to do sometimes. It's kind of bizarro world.
Right. Oh, I love it.
It's just a moment in time. I mean, they don't say it so much anymore. They kind of embrace whatever the fans are doing. Sure. But during the old regime, it was bizarro world. Right.
And here, Gunther was really the babyface. Shout out to Randy Orton. He found ways to get that crowd back on his side.
Yeah, he did.
You know what I mean?
It's Orton, dude. I mean, you can't hate the guy 100%.
It's hard, and he just kind of like gives them a round of applause for whatever they were singing. Yeah. At one point, they were doing the wave. He's doing the wave.
Was it just me, or did you kind of like listen in, watching like what is? I know I don't speak German.
Right.
But maybe I can decipher it while pulling up my app. What is Google Translate?
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
To the screen.
Well,
what does it say?
Like in France, like it took a second, but I'd be like, okay, I catch on to what they were saying. For this German crowd, I was just like, it sounds fun.
It's funny because usually Cole, like the announcers will be like, oh, they're saying at this, like in this event, they're just like, dude, I got nothing. I
don't know.
Just let them do their thing. It's
Orton was watching them do the wave. He did the wave with him. He looked at Gunther. He's like, you do it.
These are your people, dude. You do it. What am I doing the work
Why
for?
am I doing this?
This is your hometown.
So yes, Gunther went over on Randy Orton. Great match.
Yeah.
And now I bring up the babyface side of Gunther because after the match, sign of respect, Orton and Gunther shaking hands. How much do you look into that? How much does that mean, if anything? Are we getting a softer side of Gunther moving forward?
I don't want one.
Right.
I hope this is just, in front of your fellow countrymen and women. This is what we're doing. We're gonna let you get out of here with some good sportsmanship. But that's it. Once we get back to the States, you can be a jerk all you want.
Right.
That's what I'm hoping for anyway.
Yeah, no, I don't know that you go... It's too quick of a turnaround because of how, since he's been champion, how hardcore of a heel he's been. Yeah. Right? Like, you're looking at Priest and calling him street trash. Yeah. And all the... telling everyone...
He really went in.
Right.
Yeah. It's just...
He's always been a heel. But, like, now he's, like, going out of his way to, like,
well, just
insult
within the
life.
last month or so, or since he came back, it was just, like, he really had insults lined up for people.
Well, and the thing is, with Orton... showing him respect, I love it. Like man to man, like professional to professional in his hometown, great match, love it. But like I don't know that makes sense in Orton's knowing who Randy Orton is.
Yeah.
And again, it's not even just because they were opponents. Gunther on Raw 2 weeks ago was just running down Orton's family.
Yeah, straight up.
Your grandpa was a loser. Your dad was a loser.
You're a loser.
You're a loser. And here Randy Orton is shaking his hand after he gets beat by this guy.
After he just lost to him.
I don't know.
I don't know. It was a little strange, but at the same time, again, I don't know if they just want to send the fans home happy in Berlin. Like, hey, this is your guy. We don't got to make him look like a top heel on the way out of here. So,
are we getting another almost IC title run? Like, I don't want to say that long, but a long title run from Gunther.
I don't see him losing that title anytime soon. As a matter of fact, I see him walking into WrestleMania with it.
Right.
Now, who he's going to face, I don't know. But I hope we don't get the 666 days with him.
Right. Which, why do they have to stop that there?
Right. Do you ever see that number? Okay.
Yeah.
We're not going to veer off into that. But I'll see that number sometimes. I'm just like, could have just done like one more title defense. One more day.
What, like just drop it on the Raw. Like he could have got disqualified at Mania and then lost it the night after WrestleMania.
I gotta throw holy water on my television or something when it comes.
And they just say it. And no one ever brings it up.
666 days. I'm like, hey.
Why? Whoa.
Lower your voice, man.
Why are we so happy? Like, yeah,
there are kids in this house. Jesus, come on.
I don't know that with Gunther going into WrestleMania as champion. At first, I didn't think so, but that was back when I thought that the Punk Seth potential WrestleMania match needed a title. Right. I don't think that needs a title anymore.
No.
Right? And we'll get to CM Punk, but he mentioned wanting to be champion as well. So it'll be interesting to see if they want a title. That's the only way Gunther doesn't have that title going into WrestleMania.
Right.
Right? Is if they want that world title to be in the CM Punk Seth Rollins feud, That is the only way. The one thing I'll say about the match between Gunther and Orton, I love the match. It felt like, for baseball fans out there, before there was a pitch clock, you would have it where, like, it's a great game, but the pitcher steps off the mound, takes a timeout, gets back, then the batter calls timeout. I was like, yo, can someone please throw the fucking ball, right?
Yeah, right. Let's speed this up.
And the Yankees-Red Sox were famous for that, right? It was a great game, but it took 4.5 hours.
Yes.
It felt like with Orton and Gunther, great match. They took forever to get to their next spot.
And it's kind of a thing that Randy Orton has been kind of... It's something that's been thrown on him over the years.
Sure.
He's very methodical in his match approach. And, I mean, there was a time where it was always about the Orton and the headlocks, and it was just like, this is what he does. He just slows the match down. But I can forgive that if there's a story there, and especially if the crowd is hot like they were in Berlin.
Yeah, it didn't take away from the match for me, but it was just like, man, because Gunther's famous for that too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, when you have Orton and Gunther, although their King of the Ring match didn't feel as tedious as this one, the match was great. Again, it didn't take away from the match, but it just felt like a lot of waiting around until they got to their next spot.
Yeah.
And then the spot was great.
Yeah.
And then waiting around until they get to their next spot. And then the spot
especially
was
coming
great.
off of the matches that preceded this one and following, before it, and the title match you saw before it, it was just like, it was a lot more quick pace, and so you're just like, okay, we're gonna take our time with this one.
Mentioned CM Punk, he got the win, 1-1 on Drew McIntyre in the strap match. How do you feel about this match?
Probably my match of the night.
Okay.
I loved it. I love the story, the continuing story that's been, and just how it all played out in this one. The whole gimmick of the red light, green light, and you had to go hit each corner, and it kept you entertained. The match was, again, for me, match of the night. I love that we got some color, some blood in that match. It was funny how it took the Cole and Barrett a minute to acknowledge that because their monitors had gone out.
Yes,
and so we're watching Punk bleeding from the forehead for like 5 minutes before Cole's like, and apparently Punk's been busted open.
Yeah, I think Cole says it's from the headbutts. I'm like, nah, he was bleeding. Before the headbutts.
Before that, Cole made that comment. Good job, Wade. You took out our monitors. We can't see anything. And I'm like, that's why they're not acknowledging it.
Checks out.
Yeah.
Punk got the bracelet back. A great match. They completely outdid their SummerSlam match.
Yeah, no, this was fantastic.
And I think especially seeing how good of a match this was, that SummerSlam match didn't need Seth Rollins.
It didn't.
It just felt like
really
I get why,
yeah.
but it felt like Seth was in the way because this match was way better than SummerSlam.
So now, with having had this match at Bash in Berlin, the SummerSlam match now is, to me, really good match. Still think it's really good.
Sure.
It's always going to just be, to me now, a moment in time where it's an homage to 1997 SummerSlam.
Right.
That's what it is. But
Yeah,
this one is the match where it's like, you don't need any other involvement. This is the blood feud right here.
Yeah, and I respect that. Obviously, Seth, and he's been out since the Bronson Reed attack.
Right.
But, you wanted him on the card. I don't think maybe he was 100% healthy to go.
Yeah, but he's it's a big event, big star. You want to have him involved somehow.
That's fine. Yeah. And that's where it's like, I don't blame them per se for doing the ref thing at SummerSlam, but watching how good Punk and Drew's match was at Bash in Berlin, I'm like, man, yeah, this could have been a thing at SummerSlam, but they were too focused up in the Seth Rollins referee thing.
Now, does this cap it off for you, though?
That's the problem. And that's where I'm at, because Punk got his bracelet, and I mentioned this on last week's show, like, okay, we have kind of just focused on the bracelet since before SummerSlam, right? Like, I know there's a lot to dispute. Trust me, social media has been all over me when it comes to that. Like, what about Royal Rumble? I get it. That's my problem, right?
Yeah.
Because before the bracelet, there was so much more to this feud. And then the bracelet came in, and now it's just like, give me my bracelet. No, I want my bracelet back. Can't have it. You know what I mean? And it's like,
be quicker than that. Yeah.
Right. And now Punk got his bracelet back.
Yeah.
Everyone is, throwing the word trilogy out there. Bad Blood is the next pay-per-view in the beginning of October. Potential Hell in a Cell. We've talked about that on the show. I don't hate that. That match would be great. My worry is we have 4 weeks until we get there.
Yeah.
What are we doing with Punk and Drew to sell a third match?
See, that's the problem that you run into with this match that they just had. It takes nothing away from the match. It's just the fact that you essentially gave us a blow-off match now. With this kind of stipulation, with blood involved and all this stuff, that's it. With Punk getting the bracelet at the end,
right?
Right before he goes and hits the fourth turnbuckle,
sure.
That's it. That's the way you end the story. So if you're going to tell me now that Drew or Punk is going to attack the other on Raw,
right?
It's like, why?
Right.
You just told your story. Like, move on to something else now.
Well, and it wouldn't be Punk. It would probably be Drew.
Yeah.
And it just, but you lost clean, bro. Like,
yeah, it's like so at this point, you're losing all credibility of what I've been saying over the past like months. Here is Drew McIntyre is in the right. Drew McIntyre has a point. If you attack Punk now, you're just being a sore loser.
Correct, and that's where it's like you said it, like losing credibility for his heel character. And I almost wonder now, and I don't know how you do this, with Gunther being away from the Judgment Day. Judgment Day has their own thing going on, beating Orton clean. Who else on Raw is there for a world title picture? Punk mentioned after Bash in Berlin he wants to get in the world title picture.
Yeah.
Does Punk and or Drew triple threat something? Do we go that route rather than just a straight third match for these two?
That's going to be interesting to see how that works out because I don't know how you get there.
Right.
If Punk is going to go after Gunther, it's like, okay, well, fine, but it just seems like there's still this air that has to be cleared up, but you don't necessarily need another match. So it's kind of a weird space.
And I think this feud, and it still could happen, perfect for a Hell in a Cell. This is why, and the match was great, I would have booked this differently. After having a SummerSlam match, I don't know that I would have had these two at Bash in Berlin.
No.
I think I would have put one of them in the world title picture with Gunther for Bash in Berlin. Keep Orton on SmackDown. That was a whole thing, by the way. And then the other could screw them out of the world title to set up Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood, right? The fact that we went to this match at Bash in Berlin, again, the match at Bad Blood, a potential Hell in a Cell would be awesome. What story are we telling for 4 weeks that we haven't told?
The bracelet thing is done.
Yes.
The I got revenge for WrestleMania thing is done. Okay, well, we're past that now.
Right.
So what else do you...
And the only thing
what's
people
the
are
other
going
gripe?
to say is, oh, it's 1-1. We need a rubber match.
But you don't, because if you would have given me, instead of this match, if you would have given me a main event on Raw, that was a really good main event on Raw, and ended in like a DQ or whatever, someone gets a win by hook or crook, I would say, cool, now you have a reason. You don't have them at Bash of Berlin. You have a reason now to carry this over to Hell in a Cell.
Right.
But you've given me the blow-off match already. Now, just
that's what it feels like.
It's like, why are we doing this? Now, if they announce it, I'm not going to be like, oh, this is going to be shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm with it, but I don't get the story.
It's like I said, the match will be great. It's the story getting there that's I'm going to struggle with. Yeah. And that's why when I tie that in with Gunther not really having another challenger on the show right now, Seth is out hurt. There's no other really, unless he actually does turn babyface, you have heels going after him. Yeah. There's no one else really on the show that he has a history with that like could make sense for a world title feud. Plus you have the whole IC title tournament, so a lot of people are wrapped up in that. So that's where it's like, do we put one or both of them in terms of Punk and Drew in a world title picture with Gunther? And that's where that could lead, just to get away from. I think people will not be happy without having a Punk Drew Hell in a Cell match, but that's because we had a match at Bash in Berlin. If that match doesn't happen, it's because they decided to go with it at Bash in Berlin.
I mean, this is where you need Omos, Gunther needs a
Your
challenge.
Answer.
My answer.
Will we ever see him with
MVP? Get Omos. Yeah. I don't even think either of them. I don't know. Okay,
MVP
Omos, I don't
is
know.
out.
MVP's not even the company anymore.
Like, now you don't have anyone to talk for Omos.
You know what? Honestly though, this is a spot where you really could have used Bobby Lashley.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yes. A great feud for Punk or babyface against Drew,
or just against Gunther. You could have used him in this spot, and I'm just like, okay, well now I don't know, man. I don't know. Do another super show where you get the brands together on one night, or find a feud. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I said. Going into Bash in Berlin, it felt like this feud hit a wall, and after watching what was a great match, I feel no differently.
Right.
A third match in Hell in a Cell would be great. Yeah. I feel no differently about when it comes to a story between these two. Cody Rhodes, let's get over to SmackDown.
Yep.
Retaining his title against Kevin Owens. Man, they're pushing a potential Kevin Owens heel turn.
I really thought it was going to be coming during that match, but
and KO thought about it, right? Going after the knee, the whole promo on SmackDown, didn't follow through. Thought about doing a powerbomb on the apron, didn't follow through. Yeah. Cody retains. How do you feel about the way they kind of booked this out? KO not turning heel, and so on.
I mean, if they want to get another match out of it, they can. Just Owens regretting the fact that maybe he could have won the title had he gone with his instincts.
Sure.
You could play that story. Or you just have Cody move on. But then what do you do with Kevin Owens? I don't know. It's just, I liked the match. I thought it was a great match to start the show off. I love how they bookend title matches.
Yes.
And the crowd was hot for this one. It was a great way to kick off the show. But yeah, I wonder if you could have a story with that, with Owens just being basically like, I should have trusted my gut instincts and I probably would have been champion.
Right, and I do agree with you. I love that Cody's not main eventing every show, right? Too predictable, and opening the show. I mean, you've heard
this show in particular, you have to have Gunther main event.
Yes,
yeah,
right.
this one in particular.
Just like Rhea did in Australia and so on.
Right, yeah,
right?
Cody couldn't main event this show.
So when it comes to this, it's like I worry where this leaves KO, and this is why I did not like that they kind of forced this whole KO heel turn angle in front of our faces, right? Like, we all know Kevin Owens' history. We all fantasy book in our heads, and I know the running joke, and whether it's true or not, that Triple H watches social media so much during his show. It's like, this one felt like he actually does.
Yeah.
Because we all know Kevin Owens' history. It's the first thing people said when it comes to, like, these two having a feud.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we're just pushing it out of nowhere. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, the video package, all that stuff. I would have loved a KO heel turn if we never mentioned it. And it could have led to a second match at Bad Blood.
Yeah, because they played it so much that you were expecting it to happen.
Right.
And just given the history of Kevin Owens with his partners,
right?
It's like, oh, he always turns on somebody.
Right, and it's like, now this is such, whether he continues on with Cody Rhodes or not, this has been such a glaring thing that it's like it needs to be addressed.
Right.
Right? So even if he moves on to something, he can't just go on to being regular Kevin Owens and like he was for the last few months and move on to the Bloodline or whatever. Like, no, he was considering it, and everyone wanted him to do it basically, and he didn't. You know, even Cody was like, no, come on, bring it on. And he didn't. So I would have loved that they didn't put like a big spotlight on it.
Yeah.
Let this be it was a awesome fucking match, right? And let them, put on that great match. Cody goes over, and then KO takes him out after the match or the SmackDown after. And they still could do that, and maybe that's where the quote-unquote unpredictability comes in, because everyone assumed it would happen at Bash in Berlin, and now everyone maybe assumes it's not going to happen, and then we're going to get to SmackDown, and that's where it's going to happen.
You know, I just thought of, too, you could use this, honestly, to play up, to work into the much-desired RKO versus Cody Rhodes thing.
Right.
Because it's a cliche way to get there, but you could do the whole, like, who attacked Cody Rhodes thing, where everyone assumes it's Kevin Owens, and he has to keep denying it until the the magical found footage shows up and it's actually Randy Orton.
Right.
You can use it. Why not?
Hate that. I don't hate that. That was my worry too, because you have this pushing Kevin Owens as a heel turn against Cody Rhodes thing. Well, everyone wants to see Randy Orton do that.
Yeah.
And now if we do that with KO and then Randy Orton does the exact same thing, well, we're telling the exact same story with Cody Rhodes.
Too, don't you feel like we're kind of running out of time with that now? Because it's like, this either should have been the SummerSlam match, or you should have been doing it now. And I feel like as time goes, and again, it's us as fans booking this in our head.
Sure.
Like, well, we have to do it now because then The Rock's going to come back, and then the Bloodline Civil War, and it's like, dude, we're making the plans. They may not even have that mapped out yet.
Well, and I think we've seen too, Triple H, and sometimes to a fault, I will admit, not in the sense of ruining the show. Man, he likes to drag things out. Yeah. He likes to make us wait. And we have
sometimes I appreciate it because the old way was we're gonna beat you over the head with it and give it to you right away and not see the story.
AEW's like big face.
Yeah.
Dynamite next week.
Yeah, Dynamite next week. First time ever. Title for title. Okay. Sure.
Great. Glad we're just doing that.
Yeah. But Triple H gives us chapters of a book.
And there's times that I love it. And more times than not, I love it with Triple H. There are some things where I'm like, okay, you didn't need to, not to switch topic, but like the Chad Gable Otis thing. I don't know that we needed to drag that out for as long as we did. It was a good story. Is it worth going months and months with it? I don't think so.
I mean, it hasn't turned into anything.
And it hasn't turned into anything.
There's no follow back with it.
Right.
So.
And I think with this one, it's almost like you mentioned, running out of time with Cody Rhodes, because you have the Bloodline thing. Solo still is mentioning his name, and I'm not saying we want to go that route, but clearly they do.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you got this KO thing. Everyone's seen the way Randy Orton was looking at that title.
Yeah.
So it's not just us fantasy booking. We can see like they are kind of hinting at something. Yeah. And let's not forget that The Rock said whatever and gave him whatever.
The Rock said months ago, I'm coming back essentially for that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like at some point, does Roman get a rematch? So it's like, and at some point when
That's a good point. Roman still has his rematch out there.
Right. Yeah. So you have everything and it's all great, but it's like, you got to start pulling the trigger on these things.
Well, it's
you're going to run out of time.
It's great to have all these these contenders built up for Cody. Like you want that for your champion.
Yes.
But because we're getting towards Survivor Series here.
Yes.
What are we doing between then and WrestleMania?
Right.
What are we doing between the Survivor Series and the Rumble? I mean, we're talking a very limited window. What are you going to do? When does The Rock come back? Does Roman get his rematch? Are we bypassing that and just going Rock Roman?
Right.
You know, what are we
Rock
doing?
Roman could be WrestleMania. Orton Cody could be Royal Rumble.
That's
right?
true. And I wouldn't hate it. I want to, I guess, just the fan of me wants to see that happen. And I'm like, when are you going to, like you said, when are you going to pull the trigger on that?
Sure. And that's where it's like, okay, so with Kevin Owens, I don't know that I wanted a heel turn to begin with, just because, I feel like at some point we will get one with Randy Orton. And then Orton one makes a lot more sense because of their history.
And that's why I think you play it up with the Kevin Owens one.
Sure.
You can even, to the point where you can have Orton attack Kevin Owens, and just be like, okay, now if it wasn't him, then who was it? Oh, it was you,
Right. With Kevin Owens, you talked about a challenger for Gunther.
It's right there.
I would love to for Kevin Owens, because another thing they were playing up is Kevin Owens has a singles title in how long, right?
Yeah, they mentioned that quite a few times.
Lot.
Yeah.
I think that's a hint at Gunther.
Yeah.
Not the whole Cody story.
Could be.
I think if we go CM Punk and Seth without a title, that would take out my way too early prediction of CM Punk winning the Royal Rumble. I think Kevin Owens could be a Royal Rumble winner.
I wouldn't hate that
and
at all.
Kevin Owens
that would be unexpected too.
And Kevin Owens chooses Gunther.
Yeah.
And he takes that title off Gunther. Gunther loses titles to Sami Zayn and KO at back-to-back WrestleManias. There's your story.
Yeah.
I would not hate that.
Then Gunther's story becomes the guy who can't win it at WrestleMania.
That too.
Or
that
something
too.
like that,
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
no, I would not hate that with as much as they were pushing KO not having a title for a minute.
I mean, you're WrestleMania, just jumping ahead of ourselves here.
Sure.
That match potential. I mean, talking, Cena, Cody, maybe Cena, whomever.
Right.
Punk, Seth, Rock, Roman. I mean, already this early out, we got a loaded card that could potentially be.
Couple other matches from Bash in Berlin. Not that this didn't have a lot of story, but not too much happened in it. Damien Priest and Rhea Ripley defeated Dominik, Mysterio, Liv Morgan. How'd you feel about the match and the angle?
It was fine. It was just a continuation of what's been going on TV. As always, I'm stoked to see that Carlito still doing something. Just shows up. I'm like, dude, they flew you out to Berlin.
It's funny you said that. When they came out on Raw, before Bash in Berlin, he has a shirt.
He has own merch.
His own Judgment Day merch. I was
him.
so happy for him. That, I agree. No, I do feel that way with Carlito.
Look at God, man. Look at God. Carlito.
Good on him, man.
Good on you, man.
I love Priest and Rhea. They are awesome together. The fact that they went over here, though, that tells me that Liv's keeping that title for a minute.
Yeah.
And that Finn's
Which I think she should.
Yeah, Finn's going over on Priest. Because you need this new version of the Judgment Day to get some victories.
Yeah, they can't be like a scrub version where there's getting beat up by a whole group getting beat up by two people.
Right. And especially because Liv is the champion. And Liv deserved, Liv has done an awesome job in this story. That match was so well done. Everyone involved. And, I still worry when it comes to Dominik Mysterio, because he is kind of just the third wheel in this whole. And
Dom's career is going to just be him latching on to different women as he goes.
And honestly, not even just the women's side of things. Yeah. He's the third wheel in Rhea and Liv. He's the third wheel in Finn and Damien. He has no legitimate feud.
That was right. He is the dude wipe. He just.
Boy, I'm telling you,
he's just the dude wipe, man.
Pat posting that picture of him and Dom with the middle finger. I'm telling you, man.
Hey, if that happens, we brought that up on this show.
That could be the route for Dom, because Dom has no.
That is your WrestleMania match right there.
Dom has no route. He's talking about getting into the IC title picture. I
wouldn't throw it on him.
No, and I don't even think he gets the match.
As far as that's concerned. Can we just let's give Jey Uso something now? Come on, But when
my worry with Jey Uso is that he's not beating Braun.
No.
Right. So
but I'm saying
Jey
give
Uso
him that shot.
But he's had shots and he just and he's already had it multiple times where he loses. So it's like the only thing positive out of him getting an IC title shot with Braun Breaker and losing is that could push him in a weird way toward the bloodline stuff. Yeah. Because who else just lost to Braun Breaker multiple times? Sami Zayn. So that pushes them closer, which pushes them closer to the bloodline story.
The united front.
Right? Of losing to Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's the only positive.
Just a group of losers, man. Yes. Just bring Jimmy back in. Hey,
Roman,
you need our help? You freaking nerds, you losers. I don't want your help.
What the fuck are you going to help me with?
I just lost everything. What the hell are you going to help me with? Get out of here.
As he gets
We'll go to War Games with you. No, I'm good. I'll do it by myself. It's all right.
5-on-1 war
Just
games.
me and Cody. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, man.
Oh, shit. The last thing from Bash in Berlin, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill got their tag titles back, defeating Alba, Fyre, Isla, Dawn. You like this?
That illustrious tag title run that they had, and
Man.
just classic match after classic title defense, and it came to an end.
Yeah, no, it just felt like writing a Ron from Clash at the Castle.
Very much so.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
I think it was our first episode back here where we were talking about how, just because they're in their hometown of Scotland doesn't mean we needed to put the titles on them.
And then nothing happened.
Nothing.
Until this happened.
Well, and to take it off stars like Bianca and Jade is the problem.
Because first I'm like, what are you doing? This is your like premiere.
Yes.
In the women's division, these two here outside of like a Rhea Ripley.
Right.
You know. What are we doing? There's no story with Fyre and Dawn here, like at all.
How long do we have a Bianca Jade run this time? I know we talked about this the first time around. Is this the long run that we thought the first one was going to be?
I think we can get this at least through December.
Yeah.
And you could plant that. You could have them drop the titles to I don't know whom, maybe back. I don't know, but
sure.
Have that. You can again, as all feuds tend to do. You plant those seeds, and then you really start to grow those seeds of the feud in the Rumble match itself, which can lead you to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think with Bianca and Jade, like I think you could go one of two routes: a breakup, obviously, for a one-on-one match. Hell, they can even do. I wouldn't even hate if they did what Eddie and Ray did at WrestleMania 21 as tag team champions, friendly competition. Let's have a match.
That was a great match. Okay, now if they don't do the friendly competition thing, I'm going to ask you, who's the heel? Who attacks who? Who turns on who?
I'm going to say, just because I've wanted to see it on the main roster for so long, I want to see Bianca heel.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I think Jade needs to be the superstar babyface superhero of this group. Yep.
And for that reason, and I think Bianca has never done that on the main roster. She could do it really fucking well.
Oh, she'll be so effective with that.
And think, you're talking, she hasn't done this in 5 years.
If they go into WrestleMania with a heel Bianca Belair versus the babyface Jade Cargill,
and you have a 5 years more mature Bianca as a character since she's been heel.
Yep.
A bigger star than she was 5 years ago when she was heel. That would be out of this world. Now, I feel like Bianca's getting to the point of being the female John Cena.
That's why she needs a heel. She needs a change.
But that's the problem. And that's where I worried that as much as I agree with what we're saying, I don't know that the company would want to do it because of how big of a face she is.
You're saying for the reasons they never wanted to turn John Cena. Yeah.
Correct. They never, everything John Cena did with Make-A-Wish, he was the face everywhere, ESPN, everywhere.
Yeah.
Bianca is that for the women's division now.
That's right, yeah.
With the kids, she's on Belair with Peacock now.
Yeah.
Like she's on TV shows, ESPN, everywhere. Her face is everywhere. I don't know that they want to turn that beloved face that all the kids love right now. That's the only worry I have. And they could play the jealous route with Jade.
They could, but then to your point, again, we're thinking as wrestling fans.
Yes.
If you do that, to your point, like the Cena example, it negates everything. Her whole WrestleMania 39 entrance with the kids, it trashes that.
Yeah.
It's like that's going to be used as like footage of like you turned your back on everybody, which could help the character.
Yes.
But it hurts the real life situations of like, oh, but she's supposed to be a bad guy, you know.
Well, and let's remember it's Triple H in charge now. Maybe Triple H loves that controversy.
He might be like, dude, stir the pot.
Let's do it. Let's go over to AEW. Another pay-per-view coming up this weekend. All Out in Chicago.
All out, man. Get out of there.
You know what I mean? You got to get out of there quick. So they're already planting a lot of seeds from Dynamite. This match not officially announced for All Out yet, but I would hope they're going this route. Jack Perry assaulting Bryan Danielson, who was celebrating his world title win from All In.
Yeah.
Since you weren't here last week, quick thoughts on Bryan Danielson getting the world title, and then Jack Perry being the first one to challenge.
I was wrong about my prediction of him not winning it.
Sure.
But now that he has it, I don't hate it because I do see him in the situation, especially after what he said on Dynamite. He's kind of in the situation of Ric Flair was back in the day of like, once I lose my match, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, so every match I have from here on in, I'm in danger. I like that.
Sure.
It makes his matches mean more. Jack Perry being the first one to step up because open invitation on that. I kind of like it because you have an AEW original who's already in a very like despised group.
Yes.
Why not? You build up these contenders, and it puts Bryan Danielson in real danger of like, okay, this guy by hook or crook could take my title, and I'm out of here at least, full time.
Yeah, I love, like you mentioned, it's like the Ric Flair thing where it's like every match could be his last match. If he loses here, he's done. So that puts a lot, for every main event that he does. That being said, and this is where it's like just not trusting the AEW booking. It's like, cool, whoever takes that title off of him, you need to do that right. Yeah. We can't have a Kurt Angle, Baron Corbin thing here.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, we need whoever takes that title off Danielson to be worthy of that, right? In terms of Jack Perry being the one as the first challenger, two things that I don't love about it. As just straight up wrestlers and the work that Jack Perry's done since he's been back, the type of heel that he is, love it, right? Number one, this roster has way too many wrestlers and way too many champions to have a title versus title, right? Or champion versus champion. It's probably not going to be about the TNT title.
No,
but the fact that we have so many different champions and an overloaded roster, you're wasting the TNT title right now because it's doing nothing besides just, hanging around Jack Perry while he focuses on a whole nother title, right?
You don't think that serves to the point of his character, though? Like to the whole elite thing?
Well, and that's what it does, too, is it continues, and this is starting to feel like everyone thought like Triple H's Reign of Terror because he was, Vince McMahon's son-in-law and whatever. Yeah. It's starting to get to that level because everything is about the elite.
Yeah.
And everything about Swerve's title run that people didn't love, and I know it's kind of a mixed emotions when it comes to that,
bag,
right?
Yeah.
But everything, the elite felt more important than Swerve the entire time Swerve was world champion, right?
Yeah.
Like when they were in Blood and Guts, like they were the headline story. They main evented Double or Nothing, not Swerve's title match. Like there's so many examples of the elite being, that's whatever angle they're in, feeling more important.
So the elite is beyond Triple H's Reign of Terror, which was not the best time for WWE.
Yeah.
Unless you were a massive Triple H mark. I mean, whatever, you loved it. But
yes and no, but Triple H also put a lot of people over.
He
in that
really
run.
did.
He really did. Goldberg took the title off him.
Yeah.
Orton took the title off him. Batista took the title off him. Cena beat him.
So to be fair, yes. But the elite is in the territory now where they are much more the NWO, where no matter what's going on, back, way back in the day in WCW was, no matter who was being pushed, be it Goldberg, be it DDP, Sting, whoever, it's the NWO is always taking precedent. What are they doing? They're in the match. They have all the titles. They're not really defending them, but they have them.
Yep.
And it's just, well, they're the premier group. And it's like, yeah, but now the rest of the roster, like we're seeing here, is, okay, well, if we're just going to throw all the titles into this vacuum, then what is everybody else doing?
Right. And that's what it is. Like Swerve had a whole title run where the elite kind of just trumped everything he was doing. You take the title off Swerve, and now the elite's going for the title.
I feel like they rebounded okay with Swerve, though.
They did rebound, and we will get into that. But so like when it comes to this, I don't know that Jack Perry needed to be in this spot right now, especially because he is TNT champion, and there are so many better options.
Yeah.
This is just to make Danielson's run look a little stronger.
Okay, so I don't think Jack Perry's winning it.
No.
When Darby Allin has a shot here, right?
By the way,
when is that shot coming?
Grand Slam, I guess, after All Out.
And where is that at?
It's the Dynamite.
Is that in
Arthur Ashe?
Okay.
So they're doing that. Yeah. So
well,
unless they're talking about Grand Slam, the new pay-per-view day, they announced for February. If Darby's got to wait until then. It just feels like
if we can get him and Danielson both in Washington.
Yeah. And you would think
it'd be I'm just saying, if we can do that, then we can get it's his home, it's Danielson's home state.
Yeah, I mean, hell, throw Swerve in there.
You want to go out at your house and
right.
There you go.
Yeah, no, Jack Perry just doesn't feel like the guy here.
No, I think it's a good moving along match.
Sure.
But not.
I would be with it if he didn't have that TNT title. That TNT title has been so disrespected.
Well, we need an immediate
problem.
feud following his presumptive loss here.
Sure.
Because if it's just going to be him hanging out, and there is no TNT title feud, it's like, dude, drop it to somebody.
And that's my thing. The TNT title could be so damn good, but they bounce it around so much. It gets like left out so much where it's just like the focus on the booking is just the world title.
You want to do some really hillish shit? He should just retire that title.
Oh, Jesus.
As the undefeated champion.
They could afford to do it.
It's not going to hurt their whole vast array of belts they have.
They have too many anyway. But yeah, so I don't know. I just feel like, too much elite for me, and I don't need title for another title involved in the world title.
God, this sounds like people in 98 with the NWO.
Yeah,
just too much of this.
And what happened to WCW?
Right, exactly.
By the way, you mentioned Swerve.
Yeah.
How about a cage match with Adam Page at All Out? Adam Page kind of got involved in the world title match at All In as well. How do you feel about this route post-title run?
So I've been a proponent for a while that they should get back in a feud with each other.
Sure.
And I think I think it's not just rehashing the old stuff. They've kind of they mentioned it.
Yeah.
But it's just now the whole where Swerve basically dressed him down in the sense of dude, go home and be a dad. What are you doing here? You've lost at everything.
Yeah.
You suck. Get out of here. And just that new dynamic being introduced where it's you can now have Page questioning himself and going into this match of
Sure.
do I even belong here anymore?
Right.
And just overcompensating for that or just losing because he's in his own head. I think that adds a whole new layer to this story.
Yeah, I love it. I wish the title was involved. That's my main thing, and that's where I go back to. Love it for Danielson. Happy for Danielson. I would have kept the title on Swerve.
I agree. If the title was in this match, it would mean a lot more.
And everything that they've done in the past has never been about the world title.
Plus, not only that, but there have been the whole point where when they were both kind of in contention for the title,
right,
was Hangman's whole obsession was, I just don't want you to have it.
Correct.
And so if you would have had the title involved in this, now it's now I have to take it from you.
Right, which that would add to that story. When it comes to this match, the match will be awesome, right? Especially in a cage. Please, no one jump off the top of the cage. Please don't book that. I'm just...
Adam Copeland's going to be watching. No,
right,
don't do it.
Get down.
No.
So please don't do that. My worry here, and I don't necessarily mean this in the sense that it ruins the match. I hate the story. I don't know who you put over here. Because in one sense, Swerve losing back-to-back pay-per-views within 2 weeks, not a great look after losing his title. On the other sense, Adam Page has done nothing but lose. This has been his story, right? And everyone's like, well, yeah, because now he can go into his depression state and try to... Well, yeah, we've done that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And he's done nothing but lose to Swerve. And every time he was in the Casino Gauntlet match, lost. Swerve called that out. So now it's if we go to All Out and he loses to Swerve again... How do you rebound from that?
Is that the story, though? Does he go away for a while? I mean,
we've done that with Adam Page.
He went away and just came back.
We've done it where he's gone away for months. Do we retell that story
again where it's okay, I don't belong here anymore.
Yeah,
I'm
how
gone.
many times are we going to beat this guy down and you're going to lose so much that you're going to feel like you don't belong here?
Tell you this lesson, old man.
Yeah, go away.
You don't belong here, bro. Get out.
That's what it feels like. How many times are we going to have
Page
you
for
lose?
NXT. Let's do
it. Where you're going to feel the need to go away, and then you're going to come back.
And
you might have a couple wins. You're going to lose again.
Kick your ass again and get you out of here.
Yeah, and it's just man.
Essentially what Swerve was telling him in that whole promo was dude, just go.
Yeah.
This is sad.
Is this the elite? Bro, please just
you're embarrassing us for everybody, dude.
You're going to lose it all out, and then you tell me what you want to do after that, please. So I worry what you do there. It doesn't ruin it for me.
I'm not clear on that. And I almost feel
Swerve can't lose.
He just lost his title.
Right.
So it's if he loses this big match, it's so are we just dropping him down the line here now? And I don't know.
Big shout out to Prince Nana, by the way, with that angry dance that he did on Dynamite. Dude was pissed off, but he had to.
The aggression came through the moves,
right?
Man.
But he had to fulfill his.
He channeled it the right way, though.
He did it. Kicking off Dynamite, Jon Moxley, not involved at All In.
No wild thing.
No wild thing. New music.
Yeah.
A more plain, clean look. Talking about fixing this company, basically.
It doesn't belong to Tony Schiavone anymore.
Right?
Which I'm
that's the wrong Tony. It's Tony Khan.
Tony Schiavone's I own this company?
I own whoa.
Why has no one told me? Taz?
Moxley's wait, you're not Tony Khan? Oh, shit.
My bad. Wrong Tony. My bad.
Tony. Never mind.
I've been gone for a little while.
So, and then later, Marina Shafir, seen with Moxley backstage, beating people up backstage.
Random security guards.
What do you make of this?
I don't know. Is she part of the crew now?
Is it Blackpool Combat Club?
Yeah, are they split off? Are they their own thing now?
I don't know. Again, jumping around, Claudio and Wheeler are trios champions with Pac for some damn reason.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
which was not even a thing because we got the Pac appearance, but it's a whole separate issue now.
Yeah,
I'm what are we? Who's with who?
Oh,
Please,
yeah, I'm
let's
so
have
confused.
some continuity here, people.
So I don't think this is a Blackpool Combat Club thing.
That's what I'm questioning. Like, so is she in the group or
Right? I don't think this is a Blackpool Combat Club. I'm very confused, but in a very intriguing way. I love it.
No, I'm with it. I want to see where this goes, which is a good thing. Yeah.
I feel like because of how deep he's talking, this company, this and that.
Yeah.
Is this a Shane McMahon arrival?
Could you imagine?
Shane with Moxley? Because Moxley isn't an AEW original, but he's been there since almost day one.
This is the invasion. This is the invasion angle.
I mean,
Ricochet's already here.
Ricochet's here? Do the angle. Oh, I don't know if they can get away with that.
Becky Lynch is going to show up. It's all
it's all coming together.
Brock's coming. It's oh my God.
Damn, we're going to go with Brock. It's all Vince's disciples.
Oh my God, dude. Don't.
But no, I don't. I'm very intrigued by this. A Shane McMahon thing, that could be a stretch. I only say that just because he this isn't just like we're taking over, right? This feels very deep. Like it feels like there's something wrong with this company. I need to fix it. So it feels like we're leading and setting up for something big.
It could be Shane, and it maybe not in the sense of like the invasion or a takeover faction, but in the way you just addressed it. It could be something you could play backstage where it's like, look, this is I forget his name, Tony Khan's dad, the owner of the Jaguars.
Mr.
Shad
Khan. Yeah, something like that. Mr. Khan.
Mr. Khan, Big Money Khan.
Yep.
Papa Khan.
Papa
Khan. Yeah. Well, Papa Khan. Yeah, Papa Khan I'm going to refer to him as Papa Khan now. Papa Khan reached out because he's disappointed in his son and the way he's running this company after getting attacked and your talent doesn't respect you, blah, blah. I found someone who can come in and fix things.
Yeah. I would love that.
I found an advisor that I put on retainer and just happens to be Shane McMahon.
Yeah, I would love that. I wouldn't hate that on screen for Shane as long as Shane is actually helping backstage.
Yeah.
Like you cannot bring in Shane as
an on-screen character.
Correct.
No. Yeah, you have to be actually...
This has to actually be a thing
helping
backstage.
In the writing, helping in the
like, you could do this on screen.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I would love it.
I'd be all for that.
I also would not hate if Moxley turns on Danielson and tries to retire him.
Oh, damn, that's good.
That could be one of Danielson's matches before he gets out.
They'd have an awesome match.
I would love that. I would love it. I'm very intrigued by this. Confused, but in an intriguing way.
I'm confused in a so delightful way.
I'm so happy.
I have no idea what's happening, and I love it.
A few more things. Daniel Garcia is facing MJF. How do you feel about this match at All Out? Any chance Garcia's kind of going over here? Is this his best chance?
I feel like MJF should just chicken out of this match and just say that Garcia injured him, and he's going to sue him. He can't touch him. That's why this match isn't going to happen, and just build towards it. Why not? Yeah.
Why not? Daniel Garcia has never looked stronger than he did in that segment.
Oh, he's got momentum right now.
Yeah, he looks good right now. Got a big pop at Wembley Stadium.
That's almost why I'm afraid you have this match and have him lose.
Yeah.
I think you just have him like be the aggressor and MJF just be the chicken shit heel that like is going to talk a big game but doesn't actually want to face him.
Well, that's the problem. As great as Daniel Garcia looks right now, I don't know that this is his best chance for a legit push because I don't see him beating MJF, right? No. Especially because MJF lost at All In, right? It's same thing with Swerve. You're really going to have your two biggest names, Swerve and MJF, lose like back-to-back big pay-per-views. So there's that.
Yeah.
I don't see Garcia taking that title off Ospreay.
No.
Right?
No.
So it's like, is this really Garcia's legit push?
It's a push.
The character looks good. He's just in over his head, right?
Yeah, you can have... So you can give him this push, and I wouldn't have... MJF has to win the match, but I wouldn't have him win it clean.
Right.
So there's no question about, like, no... It's that thing where it's like it doesn't really matter in sports, but it's like I almost got you and almost doesn't count.
And they've done that a lot with Garcia too, right?
And it's just like I had you, almost got you, and that's why you had to resort to this to win.
The best push for Daniel Garcia, I love the character. Again, I just don't like his spot in the card because he's in a lose situation where it's like
all the way around.
You're not beating Ospreay, you're not beating MJF. That's the guy that should go after Jack Perry, right? Yeah. Like get his pay-per-view moment, beat Jack Perry, take the title off him. Like, boom, there's your push.
Yeah.
There's your start of your push. The fact that we're throwing Daniel Garcia into the deep end with the big sharks, with Ospreay and MJF, his character just isn't ready for that moment.
Yeah.
And that's where I worry about his push. He has never looked stronger than he did in that segment with MJF, but he has no business beating MJF, taking the title off Ospreay or anything like that.
There's ways to get out of that, though, too. You can have the Jack Perry thing, where you can have Garcia lose, be out there talking about it, and Jack Perry just comes out to dress him down.
Right.
You know, and there you work your way into that because it's a very Jack Perry thing to do.
Sure.
Where it's like, dude, nobody asked your freaking opinion. You're out here being an ass.
Yeah,
you know, it's like you can work your way into that.
But that works with one loss. I feel like Ospreay is going to give him that title shot because they talked about it so much. Where it's like, okay, now 2 losses, and we're still trying to build him up as he was so close. I'm like, yeah, well, he's 0-2.
You can always call an audible and divert away from that. We can get back to that if we get back to that. Ospreay might be busy down the road with Ricochet. Who knows?
I think that's a TNT title feud. That should be the next one, and maybe you just take the title off Perry.
And just have it a thing where the Elite target Garcia to be like he has to overcome all these odds to get the shot. He's whatever. It builds his character up. The fans will be behind him.
Speaking of Ospreay, he's going to defend his title against Pac. We mentioned Pac got this title shot before All In. Got the trios title with a taped together trio at All In, and now has a title shot at All Out for a completely different title.
That's just a lot of.
Yep, you following along?
Taking a lot of X's off that freeway there.
In the meantime, Ricochet on AEW TV, and they put him and Ospreay on screen together right away. Yeah. Are you good with going right to this?
We didn't get anything from it though.
Right.
We did. So here was my issue with that. Not with Ricochet. I felt like the match he had went way too long to where it just felt like he's just a normal part of the. Like, I stopped kind of caring that he was there. It just felt like any old match.
Yeah.
I shouldn't feel that way because he just got there.
Yes, I agree. I think, and that's the problem with AEW. Every match on Dynamite gets 2 or 3 segments.
Yeah, it was too. It's like, dude, quick, fast, showcase all his aerial moves. I want this guy to be showcased as a threat to Will Ospreay.
Yes.
To the crowd that has not seen their prior matches when they were on the Indies. I want that to be a thing now where it's like we saw him like basically decimate his opponent.
Yes.
Don't give me 12, 15 minutes of that.
Well, and that's the thing, and that's where AEW struggles to build their characters. When you have a no-name, not no-name, right? Kyle Fletcher is not a no-name, but you see this on Rampage Collision every show where you have a tag team. They brought the Grizzly Young Veterans in, right?
Right.
They had their Rampage debut against the Outrunners. Who cares about them?
That whole setup to announcing that was hilarious to me, though.
It was hilarious. And then the match goes way too long. Why are they competing?
Why?
If they're struggling against the Outrunners, why the hell do I think they can compete with FTR?
Thank you.
So, like, Ricochet, I love the match with Kyle Fletcher. It was a great match. Too quick in that sense. He should have faced a quote-unquote lesser opponent, no disrespect, have a quick match. But they don't have quick matches in AEW, right? Everybody gets a 12 to 15 minute match, and you're not able to highlight your stars. So I agree with you on that. I do love that Ricochet and Ospreay, despite being on TV so quick, they did nothing with it.
Nothing.
It was enough to get a little teaser.
Yeah.
But Pac getting involved right away, love it.
And that's what you want, because Pac getting involved takes that away from the fans.
Right.
Where it's like, damn it, we almost had that.
Right.
And you want to keep it that way too. It's like, hey, we acknowledge we both exist in this same universe now.
Yeah. Well,
but you're not going to get a match. We're not going to have war of words with each other. We're civil right now.
Yeah.
But there's going to be competition eventually.
It's interesting too because they're playing the route on screen. I know they are in real life. Ricochet and Ospreay are friends.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like, I'm coming after you.
After the attack when he was like, right.
I would have Ospreay and Ricochet team up, not as don't put the titles on them, but just like a couple matches.
Just out of like a mutual I like that idea.
You know what I mean? Just to kind of build, because I would not have this match until at least the end of the year.
And in that teaming up, you can tease the competition, even in subtle things where one person hits a move and it's like, I'm going to do a better one than you.
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, we're planting those seeds. We're going to get a match.
This match should not happen until at least December at World's End.
Yeah, I
Give
agree.
me a few months of just like them teaming together, friendly competition, one-upping each other.
Because the match is going to be amazing.
Yes.
And just build towards that to when I finally get it. It's like, this is what I was waiting for.
Don't do what you did with Ospreay and MJF. No, just don't do it. I don't need this on a random Dynamite.
No.
Because as much as I love,
speak that into existence. It's probably going to happen.
Well, because if you look at that too, I love that Ospreay's champion again.
Yeah.
But now MJF kind of looks dumb in the sense of, okay, well, he's just completely ripped off his American character just like that.
Yeah.
Which I would have kept that going.
He's not American anymore either.
By the way, so it's like he's only a New Yorker.
Yeah, that's it. Only Long Island. That's
but it's like, okay, that could have first off been relevant for a while because election season goes through November. Like you really could have kept pushing this.
Yeah.
And you just started this. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why I did not like Ospreay and MJF having that match on Dynamite, because no matter what you did it all in, you were pulling the rug out of somebody just like that.
Somebody had a good idea backstage and just didn't really long-term it.
Right.
It was just like, let's do it. It sounds cool.
Long-term this Ricochet Ospreay thing. You have to.
Yes, please do.
Quick prediction for All Out: Kris Statlander and Willow Nightingale, Chicago street fight.
man, I mean, there's variables around it, I guess, but probably gonna go with Willow on this one.
Okay.
I'm gonna enjoy the match regardless.
Match is gonna be good.
Gonna be great.
I'm gonna go Statlander. The fact that Willow earned the right to choose a stipulation All In, I think, whatever.
You think
title,
it gives too much favor in her corner to
they're going for like the 15th title that's on the ranking of AEW.
The 15th women's title.
Yeah, so whatever title they're going for, like, cool, put it on Stat. That's cool. I would love Willow to move on from this and get involved in the TBS title picture.
Yeah.
Again, get involved in the women's title picture. She could be a great face to go after Mariah May, as heel champion now. So I think this losing here, especially if Stokely gets involved and it's kind of BS, that would actually help Willow. So I go Stat here to help Willow in AEW, because whatever company this title's for.
Whatever company, I don't know, man. Another one that Tony Khan bought.
We're doing great. We're doing great. Last thing, real quick, it was announced a docuseries is coming out on Netflix regarding Vince McMahon and everything surrounding everything. How do you feel about, How do you feel about this? I guess expectations, initial feelings to see that this is happening.
I mean, it's going to get a lot of people sticking with their subscription or subscribing, I think, just because a lot of this is still fresh.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of the legal is still going on and pending. So it's a thing where here's Vince McMahon, this well-known character for the past 30 some odd years, and all of this came out. Now there's this Netflix series.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be some uncomfortable stuff. It's going to be disappointing to watch, like, you growing up and knowing the Mr. McMahon character and all the contribution that character had with Steve Austin, all that stuff, and then just to see what it's become, it's like watching a car wreck.
Yeah.
You're going to watch it because you want to see how this all goes down or what people say, but it's disappointing.
You kind of mentioned it. First thought for me was, man, that was quick.
Right?
You know what I mean? Like, we're just jumping right into this. A lot of this isn't even officially settled.
I thought there'd be a few years till a movie, but...
Or something, right? At least a year, right? Like, we're talking the beginning of 2024 that really everything, went down. That was my main thing is, man, this is quick. This is fresh.
Yeah.
And depending on how they do it and the angle they go within the docuseries, man, this could make the wrestling world feel weird.
I mean, there's plenty of people, I'm sure, out there who have worked with, for... whatever Vince McMahon, WWE, that are probably more than willing to trash him.
Yeah. And the one thing I'm going to throw out there before this docuseries comes out, hey, AEW, I don't need MJF mentioning this. I don't need Max Caster putting this in his rap.
I don't need the Bucks. We're going to have a sit-down viewing, a live viewing of whatever. Like, dude, come on.
We don't need to make a thing of this, and I know they're going to want to be edgy. Now, if Shane McMahon is actually involved, I don't know if they go that route.
If he, now look, I would imagine that Shane McMahon's relationship with his dad is probably not the greatest thing right now, but just the fact if you're going to have him under your employ.
It's my name still.
Yeah, it's still my family name. Like, my dad did this, my grandfather didn't do, whatever, like, respect my name, but it's like, I don't think they would do that if he's there.
Just don't go that route.
Yeah, just higher ground, dude.
Roar Around the Ring is available, new episodes every week. Find us on YouTube at Roar Around the Ring. He's at Dude Daryl Teeler. I'm Justin Valentine. Talk to you guys very soon.